Well, we're live.
We're live. It's Saturday. It's 9 p.m. in Old Blighty. We are live, so it must mean another episode of The War Room. Hello, everyone. And today we're joined, as you can see, by the Blue Tweezers. How are you doing, Tweez?
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me and having me. And
well, nobody else would say yes. So
yeah, I didn't have anything else to do, so I thought I might as well turn up.
There you go.
And you, Nate, of course. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, very well. How are you?
I'm not too bad, as they say over here. Not too bad. We don't go, it's amazing, like other countries do. When you ask them, how are you? Oh, amazing. No,
I was just going to say, Tony looks a lot younger.
Yes, and more hair. Yeah. So we'll leave it for a minute or so. Let everybody join up into the chat. If you've not said hello, say hello in the chat. We'd like to see who's with us. If it's your first time here, just put hi, and we can say hi to you. That'd be wonderful. We can see the sort of people we got in. So no Jester today. So no danger of anybody leaving in a strop. So it should be all good. So Nate, while we're waiting for peeps to arrive, you've picked the subject for today.
Yeah,
give him a quick praise here of what it's all about.
Sure. So I was thinking of trying to come up with the topic here for this week. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk with both of you, and as well as everyone in the chat of have we changed as wargamers? Ever since from when we first started playing. Some of you, I know particularly in the chat, have been playing for Wargames for many, many decades. And then there's people like me who have only been playing for 6 years now, about 6 or 7 years since I started playing Wargames. And so there's a lot of difference there. And I'm curious to see how everyone has sort of gone with over the decades of as games have changed, as mechanics have changed, as art has changed, as companies have come and gone, of how have we changed as gamers, and what kind of things do we like and dislike, and how has our collections changed over the years?
Yeah, and also applying to it applies to the newer game. We've got a newer gamer, Wargamer. We've got a few in the chat. How their short experience of Wargamer has it changed them?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So now, did you say you'd been playing for what, 7 years?
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah. Good grief! I've played games that went on longer than that.
I started playing. I didn't know that Wargames really existed outside of Axis and Allies, which I know it's hard, right? It's horrible. And so it's a horrible admission.
Wash your mouth out.
Exactly.
Your mouth out.
I happened to discover from one of my professors when I was in grad school, and I was over at his house, and he's like, "Y'all want to see my war game room?" I'm like, "Sure." I don't know anything about it, and so we go up there, and he's just pulling out one game after another. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that these existed." And he goes, "Oh yeah, they've been around for decades." I'm like, "Where have I
been?" see, with me as well, I haven't been playing, tremendous amount of time, but all I remember from war games in my youth was my dad getting squad leader, and my idea of war games was, crikey, are they all like this heavy going? That's not for me. Or playing with models, and that didn't appeal. So yeah, my thoughts have changed. So let's say hello to everybody in the chat. So make sure you say hello to us. We've got first up, he's first, Rob's first. And then, oh, look, there he is.
Oh, hello, Mike.
Oh, tornadoes in your part of the world. I think he's California way. Is that right, Mike? I
don't know.
Yeah. Christoph? Cloudy New Jersey. Yeah, it's been raining tonight here. It's been raining over your part, Tweez?
Yeah, it's been cold and rainy all.
Yeah, horrible.
Day.
It's
terrible.
It's like
gone
February.
back to February. Yeah. We're back in February.
Yeah.
It's warm here.
Thomas.
Hey.
We've got Koi, Groucho. So we've got a couple from our part of the world turning up. So that's good. Damp and chilly. Yeah, tell me about it, Paul.
Oh, Czech Republic.
Yeah, we get them from everywhere. We are an international.
Awesome. Yeah. The weather must be fine. He hasn't mentioned anything, so must be all right.
Yeah, you're looking a little blue, he says.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
probably do that jumper. Marty, Aussie. We've got an Aussie in, so everybody. Hey. Brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
The whole world's covered in rain.
Yeah. Stop it, or I'll kick you, or you'll go. All right. Edward, and look, the one and only.
Oh, Stuka.
Oh God, royalty. Right.
Yeah, we've got them all.
Brilliant. Kind sir.
Thanks, Nordic. Yeah. Yes, I must admit, we're all joking about it. I wasn't too impressed, were we, Nate, at the time?
No.
It was like, what? Anyway.
I think I know what bribe he'll accept, though. I can see it actually right behind Tweez. There's a box there called Knock Paris that I think that Norick really wants from Jester.
He's still trying to get a copy.
He is every week.
Yeah. Anyway, hi Thomas and Charles. Hope you're doing well.
Oh,
no
fun.
Oh no.
No, hope you get well soon there, Charles. Kevin. Who else we got? Oh, Grog. Don't recognise it. Have you been on before, Grognard Rich? But so great you're here. Good to see you. Yeah, 49 years.
Wow.
I mean, here we go. We go with the dick measuring.
Get him a chair.
Mine's been 49 years. Yeah.
There we are. Look at this. Yeah. So, a relatively newcomer to the hobby.
Tobruk was the first Hex Encounter war game I actually played. It was more than 3 years ago.
David. Carbon Commander, how you doing?
Hello.
Just seeing who else is here.
David?
Another one. No, you haven't beaten Mike. Meandering Mike's. No, he's got the longest one at the moment.
Oh.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
I don't know.
No.
I found it funny that Nordic has said, "Yep, I hit the nail on the head. Knock Paris is the sufficient bribe for."
Yes. Well, you've got, if you look, yes, he's got some sort of growth here as a Tweez. Explain. There's a reason for it, Michael. There's a reason. Here he goes.
Yeah, my wife stuck a hairy caterpillar on the top. But no. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be on stage at the a little village hall, being Hercule Poirot. So this is an attempt to create a Hercule Poirot moustache. It was going well. It's kind of fizzled out a little bit, but it kind of does.
What case are you solving?
This is called Black Coffee. It was an Agatha Christie play with Poirot. It's the only play that Agatha Christie actually wrote as a play for Hercule Poirot. So it's
a sort of American-y title, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's coffee in it.
Yeah, I know.
I know. They're not talking about. Nobody has tea in the whole play. No tea at all.
Very American.
It's not very authentic, to be honest. That's true.
And are you with your tea? Are you a Miffy, Tweez?
Am I what?
Miffy.
What the hell's that?
Milking first.
Oh no.
No.
Goose, no.
Same here. Yeah.
No.
Same here.
What?
Yeah, I can't comment. I don't drink.
It's called Miffy. No.
Okay.
I don't drink tea at all.
Yep.
It's my tea.
3, yeah. Long time. Yeah, they're all wishing you good luck now.
Thanks. Yeah. You're not supposed to do that. Guys.
No, you've said you're supposed to say break a leg. Now he's got to stand up and twiddle round 3 times.
That's right.
Mind you, I do that most mornings, so it's fine.
Yeah.
A part of your morning ritual?
It's not voluntarily. It's just disorientation.
Be interesting to find out why you took the break for 30 years. It's probably something to do with wife and kids. Maybe, I don't know. It could be completely wrong.
Maybe he has a similar temperament to Jester.
Yes, yeah. Oh, hello. I didn't say MILF, Mike. Trust you to drop it into the gutter, and we've only been on air 12 and a half minutes.
Oh.
And the bugger beat me to it.
Now that you said that.
MIF, M-I-F.
Yes.
Milk in first. Well, this is what we want to find. This is why this subject is interesting, because we've got them right across the whole, most people some people have been doing it most of their lives. Others have only just started to dip their toes into it. So, yeah. That's if they're doing it, they call it the Scottish play.
Yeah.
They can't say Macbeth. Oh, no, I said it. So, there we are. Somebody's got it.
Thank you.
Teresa,
there we are. Hello, Larry. Larry, yep. Hi, Larry. Right. So that's it.
Teresa, I didn't know that you acted. Is this just a one-off, or have you done this several times?
No. Oh no.
That's what he goes on about. That's what he goes on about.
Yeah.
So I should.
I've been doing it quite a while. Yes, I did. I did have a semi-professional theatre company for a few years before I found out it really didn't make any money, and actually kind of emptied the bank balance quite successfully within those 2 years.
It's like being a musician. You don't, people go, oh, no, it don't make any money. No, unless you're lucky.
No, it just loses your money. Yes. I did the Edinburgh Fringe. That just drains your bank account.
Oh.
Like, there's things you think about actually doing something at the Edinburgh Fringe. So, yeah. But no, quite a while. 12, oh, God, it's almost 25 years.
Good.
Wow.
I've been a musician.
I've
been a musician for performing on stage, whatever, acting, playing guitar, singing for a long time. My first performance was when I was 5. So, and that was in the street, and I had a crowd around me. I didn't have a hat, though. I was singing outside where we lived. And I got a crowd, and I should have had a hat, but I had to collect the money, but I didn't. So, yeah, many, many, many years. So, yeah, we're doing that. What's this pastry dish about?
Yeah, it's obscure. You got me there.
It's probably Nordic. He's another one. He's like Mike. He's filth. Yeah, they drop it down into the gut. So, yeah, it might be something to do with that. I wouldn't push the issue.
See, I have no talent for playing any instrument whatsoever.
Oh,
I had to do, when I was in high school, I had to have 1 year of fine arts to get the credit for high school, and I did band and I played trumpet, and it was so bad. I mean, I was the dead last chair. And I remember during one concert, I ran out of breath, but I'm still just twiddling away, making it seem like as if I'm playing. And at the end of the year, I begged my parents, please, let me quit. I've got the one credit, I'm done. And my mom was like, no, you need to keep working,
That's the worst thing your mum could have done. Mums do that. They push the kids. If they're going, it's up to you, then you might have come back to it in your own time, you see.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing. See, my mom said, you should keep going. My dad goes, no, let him quit. He's horrible.
Everyone's a critic, huh?
That's right.
Yes.
That's my son. That's my son. He'll be doing that soon. He's going to college in September to do music performance. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So no pastry dishes. In fact, there's no eating at all. In fact, I'm supposed to actually light up 2 cigarettes, but that's now a fire hazard, so that has to get cut from the show.
Now, you used to be able to in joke shops. You remember joke shops? You used to go in, and you could buy this fake cigarette that had looked like it had a burning end on it.
Yeah,
and you filled it with talcum powder or something, and you just blow on it, and it would come out and look like it was. Stuffing. So maybe do that. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
66 years. You're sorry, Mike.
There we go.
You've been beaten by Jeffrey.
Oh no,
man.
And now we've got a second competition. How big's the break been?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Why did people stop? We hear this a lot, don't we? I think a lot of it's to do when you reach a certain age, you've got a bit more time to go back into the hobby you used to do as a youngster, sort of thing. Maybe. Yeah, look, stage lighter.
Wow.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, but that was on beer, Rob, wasn't it? Let's be honest. And
actually, the university I work for is known for its theater productions.
Yeah,
we just
did
did
the street, but yeah, didn't stop after that.
We
Sorry.
did. They just hosted like not too long ago. They did a play on the Titanic, and apparently it went very well, very very well.
It went down, didn't it? Went down like a bomb.
It didn't sink then.
Well, that's what I couldn't. First, I couldn't figure out how do you turn a play into the Titanic into a play. Somehow they did it, and it was very good.
Oh. So we're getting a better save it all. Yeah, save it all for later. It's interesting to see. Yeah, so Thomas has played something apart from air war games. So that's good to hear.
Right.
Very droll.
Nice one, Paul.
Yeah, I know Thomas is a singer as well. Sings in these lovely. I've sung once. We had a concert. I did a concert once in an old deconsecrated church, and the acoustics in there. And that time I was in a harmony three-piece harmony folk Americana trio, and God dear, wonderful acoustics. But yeah, he's a singer. Yeah, lovely. My son tries everything. Saxophone, he's got guitar, and he's annoying me now. Well, he was earlier practicing his drumming.
Oh boy, the neighbors will love that.
Oh, we have to tell him off. Midnight. He goes, "Come on, mate. It's midnight. People are gonna get the ump." But that's musos. We don't think 1958 and never stopped, Larry. Well done, mate. Good. Great.
You must be pretty tired now.
That's 66 years. Is that our winner at the moment? Not that there is anything to win.
I think we got a tie. Yeah, we got a tie at 66, weren't we?
Oh, that's cool. Grognard Rich is a lead guitarist in a Christian rock band.
Hold on. I've just seen that. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. That's cool. It's cool.
So,
okay. And he's got a concert tomorrow.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I used to charge more than that. I think you're undercharging yourself, only a tenner. But, I'd charge more, at least 50,
So I'm curious what.
Yes, I know, Mike. I know. Yes,
I'm curious. So what have you gentlemen been playing lately at all?
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Well, I can't turn it down. I'm now. Excuse me. I'm now a tutor for maths and science.
Okay.
Which is what I do, and at this time of the year, everybody sort of contacts you because we've got exams coming up next month.
They're all scared and
petrified. Can you give him a quick lesson on the difference between ionic and covalent bonding? Oh, he doesn't know how to simplify an algebraic fraction. So you get that, So it's all been a little bit hectic. Should quieten down in another sort of few weeks. Not that I'm knocking it. I can't turn the work down. So
you're saying no Stalingrad Z.
No, and I don't know when I'll do that because I'm thinking I'll keep looking at things that I've got on my list and thinking, shall I play that? It's not fair. It's not fair on the chat percent. But I'll try and get it in. But I've done should have the unboxings for those VUCA sim games I got sent in early.
Oh,
so we should see those at least. And then when when nobody wants my services anymore, because I do them online, so it could be anywhere.
Now, Meandering Mike wants to know whether or not you've played Tides of Iron lately.
Where's the ban button? Hold on.
Where's the tumbleweed? Straight across the screen.
Yeah.
So,
Tweez, what have you been playing lately?
The first I'd like to say that I did hear about last week. I was in the chat. I saw what went on, so I thought I would become prepared. So I've brought my
Why did I ask you?
tide iron.
That's an untidy iron.
No, it's not. It's
The
not
lead is
tidy
all
iron. It's a
It's not-
tide iron. I've tied the thing on the top now. Tough crowd. Tough crowd.
They are a
Oh,
tough
God.
crowd. They are.
Yeah, I
mean,
know. So what I've been playing? Well,
That's the-
not only have
Hold on, I was trying to get mics up. There we are.
Oh man.
oh, are we quiet?
Yeah, there we are.
Oh yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, okay. So you might have known from my chats, which I do, and videos. And if you don't know, then bloody well get on my channel and go and have a listen. You buggers.
I think, to be honest with you, I think most people in the chat.
Yeah, I know. Well,
so it's great. It's great. You know.
Yes. So I haven't been that well. I haven't been that well, and that's actually been resolved last week. So I am back fighting fit. Well, not fit really. That's kidding. But yeah, I am back. But what I have been doing, two games. One which I don't actually have yet, which is the Battles of Napoleon Volume 1, Eilau 1807. And I can't show it to you because I haven't got it yet. But they did publish the Vassal mod. So I've been playing the Vassal mod, and I've done a couple of...
Is that the one from Sound of Drums?
Sound of Drums, yeah. The Swiss guys. So just been trying a couple of those scenarios out. Sounds great. The other one is one I'd been waiting for about 18 months to actually start to exist, which was Compass's latest company scale system modern game, which is The Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah,
that's very
there you go.
Yeah.
So that one there.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah. I've gone through a couple of scenarios. I haven't done a complete playthrough. It was just like one session. I'm just doing a third one. Also, the other thing about my gaming area is if either of my children come to stay, then it turns into a bedroom, so I have to break things down, and so it's temporary stuff. But I'm just setting up at the moment over that way the scenario, which is the French sector defending. Yeah,
I've never played anything in that series.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you know GTS, but it's very, very similar, but very much scaled down. It's a much simpler thing to go. It's slightly unfortunate that it has some compassisms. So some of the rules, things, I don't know how to do the play testing.
Say no more.
Kind of thing.
We love their games, but I mean.
Yeah, last night I was setting this up, and there's an information counter you have to have for each division, which is known as the dispatch points counter. And I was looking for the French Berlin Brigade one. I couldn't bloody find it anywhere. I thought I'd have lost it. I went to their website, had a look at the pictures of the counter sheets. It didn't include it.
Oh,
well, that's an hour of my life. I want to get it back again.
Man.
So yes.
Wow.
So yes, compassisms, but other than that, yeah, I do like it. It's a lot easier than GTS. I feel a little bit less of the brain going a bit, but no.
I really hope that I did the Kickstarter for The Last Gamble from Compass, but
yes,
the Battle of the Bulge, and I really hope that that's tightly down. Everything is.
What do you reckon in your heart of hearts, Nate?
Well,
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
As he's just said, compassisms.
Yes,
but I think we
like Compass games, but
we get to expect it.
I'm very tolerant of this kind of thing.
Yeah,
because I rough notes, and probably the chat does know. I've said it several times. Is I feel like I'm completely privileged that actually there's a load of people who make this stuff that I actually enjoy to play, and they probably make a lot more money going off and doing something else.
Right.
So my complaints are are very few and far between.
Unless it's something that shouldn't have been released because they brought it out too quick to make a fast buck or whatever. But
sell the game.
Normally it's okay.
Sell the game, move on.
You're going to write a sheet, and I just go around. You either alter your rule book or whatever.
Now I've asked Ruff this. I'll ask you, Tweez. What I see that you have Norman Conquest behind you.
Yes,
what's your have you played it, and what's your thoughts on it? Okay,
no, not yet. I'm still working up to a special unboxing of that at the moment. So
you want to see special unboxings? It's chaos.
Yeah,
but they are special.
Yes.
He doesn't lie.
Yes. Yeah. So no, this is an extra special unboxing. I'm getting it. I haven't been able to get the time.
But you have played.
But
we've played the Men of Iron.
Oh yeah, I've got Men of Iron's kind of. Yeah. It's probably behind there actually.
Be careful when you're done with the unboxing. You don't drop the Tide of Iron on Norman Conquest. Then that.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea actually. Yeah. No, I'll watch out for that.
Be careful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Another satisfied customer.
Oh, I can't remember how long ago it was that I watched your Rome Inc. play.
Oh yes.
And I was interested to hear your thoughts on it because when I first got it and tried to go through it, well, my first time I rage quit it because I couldn't figure it out, and it was I didn't care for the way the rules were put together, and then I went to another. I thought I'm just going to not spend a lot of time on this. So I'll go to another game, and then I came back, and finally I figured it out, and I did enjoy it, but there was a lot of dice rolling, and particularly on I think it's the revolt check. You had for like 50 provinces you have to check, and
you were saying that, weren't you, Tweez? And also the rules were a little bit, but you've got your head around them in the end, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I actually thought, well, actually, all that stuff you could automate in a vassal module.
Yeah.
There's one problem. There's no vassal module. Nobody's made one.
There is now.
Is there?
There is.
I keep checking. Oh, there is. Oh, I'll have a look and see if they've automated.
And also,
something.
a suggestion here from Nordic.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Battle of Lewis. Yes. Yeah. No, good thought. Good thought. Yeah. I might do that. I might look that up. Good stuff. Yeah. Sure.
But,
and
I've got you all here in the chat. If you haven't pushed the old like button, because we need all the help we can get, us struggling YouTubers, give that a smash for us. Would you be so kind? That would be absolutely spiffing.
Yeah. Stiff shoulder charge. Go on.
Yeah,
that's right.
But only do it once, and do the one that points up. Thank you.
I will show you both something that I got in the mail just a couple of days ago and already clipped all the
the court orders finally come through. Is it your court dates come through? Is it?
You bet. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the results, from the clinic. Clinic. No?
It's all clear.
I shouldn't have said anything. Oh, hush my mouth.
We told you what it would be like, Nate. Okay.
Oh, man. Bless my heart. So I was excited to get this.
Oh, yeah.
The new C3I, because I love Ancient. So as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh man, this looks really exciting. I have Rebel Fury on order that's coming, and I discovered that this is basically the same system as Rebel Fury. And or it's tweaked a little bit so it can fit more Ancient Warfare. But I thought, well, if I know one, I'll know the other how to play it. So I figured I'll definitely get.
Is that a Mark Herman game as well then?
No, this is
Rebel Fury isn't it?
Rebel Fury is Mark Herman. This is Dan Fournier, I believe.
Right.
I don't know how to pronounce this.
I think you're okay there. Fournier, I'll mirror it anyway.
Yeah. And he'll find us someday and yell at us. So I'm excited to try it out. I already got it clipped and ready to go.
Yeah, the thing is, though, this is the other thing. Maybe we should have a chat about that, about magazine games. How much was that magazine? $50, $40? What is it?
About $50. Yeah.
Yeah, they're about.
Yeah, it's the game. I know you've got lots of reading in there, but is it worth the game? Worth you'll only know that when you start to play it. But our magazine games, because
there's only been a couple of magazine games that I've bought that I have really regretted buying.
Roaming.
Unfortunately, they're from Compass.
Oh, right. That's it. Well, I suppose they've got a deadline. They've got to get the magazine out, not so much play testing. And, you know, not just Compass, you know, like C3I and all that sort of thing.
So magazines have their own kind of Compass-isms, but if it's a Compass magazine, you've got isms.
Exactly.
Yes, but Stuka in the chat, his love is taking a magazine game that may need a bit of love and care and tweaking it around. So, you know.
You can get arrested for that kind of thing.
I've bought a couple and I'm thinking, come on, guys, I can't even understand the rules. So
I actually did one magazine game that I adore. I really like is Pitt's War. And it's the only game that I really know of that covers the whole French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars, 1792 all the way to 1815. And the rule book was just not very good. So I actually did was I went and like reformatted and retyped the entire rule book myself. It's actually posted on BGG. I like completely redid the whole thing and put the charts in on like actual charts as opposed to they were inside the rule book itself and you had to keep flipping through back and forth.
Yeah, they're just underdeveloped and play tested, aren't they, to get out quick? I mean, it's a question for you about a proper game.
I have never played a GBOH game.
Oh, you should.
An ancients man.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe both of you can convince me on this. To me, putting two lines together and then just keep rolling dice to see, you know, that eventually one of them's going to die at some point doesn't seem quite fun to me.
I thought you were an ancients man, mate. Aren't they all like that?
I mean, I am.
Aren't they just lines and go crunch? Aren't they just that crunch?
Yeah.
You know, crunch, run away.
The battles are really cool. They're really interesting, but it doesn't seem like it, at least to me, it doesn't seem like it lends itself well to an actual board game where there's not much movement. You're just kind of crashing in one another, and then that's, you know, whoever.
The ones with the Romans are interesting because the way you play the Romans is absolutely different to the barbarians. Or you know, or the Eastern, you know, sort of.
They've got that special chain of command.
Yes, particularly SPQR, where you've got the Republican army, where you've got the was it the Triares, the
Hastati, the
Principes, and So and they've got you know, different. You're quite restricted on what you can do with the Roman army, but it's incredibly efficient and it's like a buzzsaw. And so, if you have the SPQR, you've got things like the battles with Pyrrhus, where you've got the phalanxes. So you've got phalanxes versus legion, or early legion, and it's like playing. Yes, you do butt up against each other, but the effect is very different on how you play. So I wouldn't. I know what you mean. Yes, and quite often I don't like that kind of game. But GBOH, and particularly with the Trump rule, the trumping rule. Sorry, not Trump rule, trumping rule.
Yeah, nothing to do with a certain person. Loving or hating, he's not mentioned on this show.
Yeah, every game has a little orange counter that comes. No. With the leader trumping rule, in English, trumping means something different as well. So, the good commanders
I don't want to ask.
Are so much better than the bad commanders.
Okay.
But there is risk and things. So there's a shell game about command on top of it, which is interesting as well. And actually, the first time I played GBOH, way back when the first stuff came out, I bought the original SPQR, and I got rid of it. I hated the trumping rule. I thought that's really silly. And then when I heard other people talking about it and stuff, I went, oh, maybe I'll give it another go. And I got one of the other editions, the later editions of SQR, and tried it again.
Yeah.
I thought,
that's where you.
This is really clever.
I mean,
Isn't that
I'll tell you,
but just in case people haven't played it, that's where you can try it, where you try and get another command. Somebody else can try and stop you from doing that.
Yeah, you activate. So all the commanders and sub commanders have an initiative rating, and you naturally over both sides you will do it in strict the lowest first. But as you do that, you can get to a point. At any point, one with higher initiative can attempt to take over the turn, and basically that leader does nothing, and they take over that turn, and they can do their turn. But you might fail, in which case that commander who tried to take over doesn't get a turn at all.
So
they lost out.
I'm curious whether or not does GBOH, whether SPQR or Julius Caesar or Alexander, any of them, do they tend to favor a lot the historical result? Meaning,
yeah,
okay. So,
quite a lot of the scenarios are totally one-sided. If you go to, I think it is on my channel, isn't it? Ruff and I played Cataphract, which is a derivative expansion. We played the Vandals, I think, against Belisarius, and it was over in a turn. It was.
Wow. By the way,
it was a mashing, real mashing.
You can play ahistorically as well. So you're using modern.
I don't mind.
Ports. Yeah.
The one, if I were ever to try GBOH, I think the first one I would try would be the Julius Caesar Deluxe. That looked really interesting to me.
The other
you still got that Legion thing, but it's not quite the SPQR Legion.
Also, from a sort of purely
much more flexible
point of view, there's a lot of game in there for your money. So there's a ton of stuff in each box.
Yeah, it's 40 battles in Julius Caesar.
Yeah. Just unfortunately, the price isn't like $100 some odd for at least US.
It is.
So,
I mean, yes, that's the problem.
Maybe that'll be my GMT sale game this year. I'll get.
Yes, it's always good fun to try that.
And there is a chance. Because
you've got
barbarians do have
rolls, you've got
advantages, initial advantages. The barbarians, you have this sort of ferocity thing. So effectively, all your troops are better until one of them routs, and then they all start to fall apart.
Amazing, isn't it? We just mentioned one game series, and off they go. Everybody's chatting away. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Don't mind us. Sorry.
No, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But it's for them. It's for everyone. This is people chipping in with their points of view. You get so much Nordic, don't you?
Yeah, normally I don't. Normally I play more operational and strategic level, so I'm not really delved a lot into the tactical games yet.
I'm more operational myself. I don't do a lot of strategic, but that's I do some tactical, but
you're not a great tactical,
but not
a certain game like Fields of Fire or
Yes, exactly.
As far as I know, at least Tweez hasn't had a yellow tank that's burst into flames. And
funny enough, I have.
You don't know me, mate. You just don't know me.
That's the thing to do. Maybe have a chat with someone and get a bit of experience of it under your belt for yourself to make your own mind up.
Yeah, indeed. I'm interested in that 1812 VUCA game, and because VUCA sent it to Ruff instead of me for free, let's see if I can persuade him to give me a game of it because I don't have a copy.
Well,
I'll have to learn the rules and tell him how to play it. That's the that's the penalty.
That's what I understand. Tweez, you're the one that teaches him how to play these games.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
then he keeps back some of the rules, so he can
exactly
get me. You could have done that, by the way, Ruff.
Well, I mean,
but that's part of the fun. No, we're joking apart.
That's completely understandable. Of course,
we could do an Ancients game topic, but it'd only be Nate and some other chap, whoever it is, talking, because I know very little about that part of history. I enjoy it, but I know very little about it.
Despite how Ruff looks, he's not that ancient.
No, I'm not. I'm full color. I haven't got black or white. It's
Ruff. I need to get you lots of books then to read on. You need to get.
I can't read. I can't. I've got time.
You can't read, really?
Oh yeah, no, that came out not the way I wanted it to. I haven't got time. I put all my books away. You know, I'm a World War II.
And Nate, SPQR actually has flaming pigs in it.
Ooh,
yeah,
very nice.
Yeah.
Is SPQR actually still in print?
Okay, his credit card is just.
Do you know what? It's expensive. It is expensive. Now it is. You know.
Let's see. Nope,
so
it's not.
My GMT commission check is going to be quite good.
Yeah. So yeah,
you try exactly.
Somebody, you know, saying let's try it. Oh, what a weird quirk of fate.
I'll have a look for it.
Yeah, quite true, Groucho. Quite true. But it's what I was brought up with my, you know, my father was well into it, you know, and
yeah, there's some.
Leave me out of this, all right?
Some historians actually are talking about how that now that we're getting to the point where there's no more World War I veterans, and now we're getting close to losing all of the World War II veterans.
It's virtually there, isn't it? Yeah.
We're actually, because now we're actually far enough away that we're able to understand a little bit more about the conflicts, because there's not the sort of, I mean, as much as we like the actual interviews with the veterans and everything, there is a lot of still emotion involved.
Yes,
and that can color how we, particularly historians, can look at a particular event.
Because war is terrible anyway, and every side, every nation who's involved in a war will do terrible things. That you know, and people don't like to admit that.
Yeah.
You can look at it with a sort of clearer eye, with a sort of less biased eye, can't you?
Yeah. And there is some historians that are looking at sort of World War I and World War II as almost one big conflict as together, with just an interlude, because they're so interconnected with one another. So they almost consider them as sort of like 45, almost like 30 years worth of war, with just, you know, a little bit of a gap in between.
It's a tea break in the
middle. That's a
right,
good point.
exactly,
that's a good point as well.
With milk in it, right?
With milk in it.
Oh, you Miffy?
After, right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it has to be after. But that's a good point from Christoph there. You got no one left to tell you what a horrible thing it was, you know.
Very true.
Yeah. Oh, Larry's trying to get you to spend your money, mate.
I went on GMT. I couldn't. There was no add to cart button,
because I thought it was out of stock.
Really?
Maybe Mike knows.
What butter jelly?
Yeah.
He's got his finger in the pot. He's one of the lads, isn't he? So
I really want Wolfpack.
Yeah, it's taken an age, isn't it? It's at the printers. Yeah, all right. No, we can't wait, Mike. Can't wait.
So I did actually last night. Introduced a friend to Star Wars Rebellion for the first time,
and
he loved it. Of course, he was the Empire, and he won.
That is more of a war game with models, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a war game with minis.
Yeah.
Did you find out he's your father?
She says I'm older than him. That would be a little weird.
Ooh.
Well, it is a weird world in the Star Wars world, you know. So there we go. I'm playing. I haven't got that one. I'm playing. I've got Outer Rim, which is basically a sort of, you go around picking up cargo and the other ones are trying to stop you. It's a bit like, but might be playing that at PunchCon because Gareth is bringing it, so that'd be fun. Bit of a end of an evening sort of thing, you know, to just wind down with after we get drunk, till we go and get drunk in the bar. So you know.
Now, speaking of Will's comment about he thinks that world wars are misnumbered.
Well, that's what they say. That was technically the first global. Well, because it started very local and then went over to your part of the world as well. So, you know,
I actually have a book today that
Oh.
will fit with what he just mentioned.
Because that is an interesting era for me that I know, again, not very much about that, but that interests me. So
The Enlightenment period.
This 7 Years' War, which led to the War of Independence and then led to the Napoleonic Wars and all that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing that this planet has been at war in some form or another since it was created. So it's since, sentient life
Eons ago.
Yeah, it's quite crazy, and it hasn't stopped. Even today,
and it won't, as long as there's people here.
Okay, Mike.
Just we don't want it to end up like what the Fallout show that's out now. Or
I've got to watch that.
Everybody's
Everybody's saying it's quite good. You liking it?
I haven't watched it. I heard it's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it yet. I've seen most of it, and I didn't know the computer game because
I didn't rate.
Not a computer
this is
game,
me.
but
This is my opinion. Don't ever go. I didn't rate the game. I found it a bit boring. I found it a bit boring. Oh, I've played it.
Yeah, I was unsure until I just checked with my daughter. I said, is this meant to be a bit tongue-in-cheek? And she said, absolutely. And I was like, oh, that's all right then. Because otherwise it was just too cheesy for words.
With Nat King Cole singing in the background.
Yeah. It was all,
my son's enjoying it, and my wife was watching it because my son was watching it. And she went, hey, we've got to watch this. This looks fun. So, but quite scary and gory as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tweez, do you have a name for your? People are asking about instead of just, what's the name of yours?
And with the the weather how it is over even further west than you are, I think I was going to go for Tweezers Twisters.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I haven't got a graphic for it.
No, we don't need a graphic because
Well, frankly, I couldn't be bothered.
I may even kick you before you actually do it. If I'm in that sort of mood, if I get a bit ranty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I've got my defense.
So, shall we do a bit of that nonsense then? We've 50 minutes coming up.
Sure.
Who do you want to go first?
I have no problem with sharing my book here first.
Go on. I won't put the thing up because it's not relevant because they're not here. So we'll just go for Nate's notes.
I can't do it without the graphic. I put so much. I'm just kidding.
That's all right then, because I'd have to get it out the folder, get it under. Oh, dear, oh Lord. So no.
I'm so disappointed. My heart is bruised.
Just get on with it.
So speaking of what Will mentioned earlier about the world wars, that yes, a lot that many people consider the 7 Years' War to be the First World War, and then Napoleonic Wars is another world war. And so with the Napoleonic Wars, there's actually a great book from David Bell called The First Total War, and he goes through it's a fairly short book. I mean,
I like the way you say that. That could stop a draft under a leaky door, couldn't it, really? I mean, let's
see. 317 pages. That's not bad. You can do that.
100 pages are all the sort of references and things at the end, are they?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the fun part, is to go through the bibliography.
Because you end
That's me being a nerd.
But you end up buying more blooming books. I've been there, done that with the
right. I already got a problem. Yeah. I got way too many anyway. So, but yeah, this is a great book because he walks through about how in, like, say the 17th and 18th century, that a lot of the way that the warfare is that basically we gather an army, we go and we destroy the enemy army, but we don't destroy the actual land around it. Like, we feed our army around it. We don't raid and pillage and plunder everything around us. And plus, the nation involved is not necessarily fully, I guess you could use almost the World War I term of like fully mobilizing every single bit of its resources in order to actually defeat the enemy. Instead, we gather an army, we go and raid maybe a small bit of their territory. or we go and we conquer a fortress and we plop ourselves down there for a little while because that's what we want. And then after a little while, maybe the war's over. Whereas the Napoleonic Wars, things begin to change dramatically in that we start seeing the entire nation, like for instance, the entire nation of France, of Britain, really gathering every resource that it can in order to defeat the enemy. And they spend 25 years at war with one another. And by that time, by the end of the war, I mean, Britain was in dire debt, as they were after even World War I and World War II. France was just annihilated as terms of like an economic power. It spent few decades to gather its resources back up again, and particularly like in the Napoleonic Wars, population, manpower. Like eventually like in World War I, you start running out of people. And you can't keep fighting. That's why, like, for instance, Napoleon was really surprised in 1814 when the coalition had invaded France, and Napoleon was expecting sort of a Spanish guerrilla type war in France against the coalition. And instead, the French population went, yes, please, we're done. We don't want to fight anymore. And Napoleon felt very betrayed, particularly by one of his marshals who just marched one of his corps over to the Allies and just said, here, you can take them, please. And that's because everyone was just sick of war. Entire families just devastated by all of their fathers and their children being sent off to war. And just for instance, like the Russian campaign, almost 600,000 people just die. And most of them from starvation, and then the cold through the winter. So it's a consequence of during the revolutionary times of doing the levée en masse, the conscription basically. Nobody done conscription before, really. I mean, the Ottomans had done it a bit in certain areas. Right. That they take take young men and go, right, you're in the army now, bang, kind of thing. But other than that, it was the first time. But that after 20 years of doing that, you don't have you've got a serious hole in your male population after doing that. Whereas it was only, I mean, the British never quite did that, and even the Austrians and the Prussians, when they brought the landwehr out, that was quite late, so it wasn't. They hadn't got the same effect, really. Right. But absolutely, they just worn out. Absolutely worn. That was the particularly sort of rough time. But that happens in the same as the First World War. What we know as the First World War, villages were decimated over here with no men left and all that sort of thing. I think in France, something like a third of the male population died. Something like that. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy, horrific. And I just have to have a word with Christoph. I say something mistakenly, and they leap on it, don't they? Terrible. It's all right, Christoph. I'll explain it to him. There's one. There's one. Hey. Oh, look. There's a map. There you go. There's a map, Ruff. I can't read a map. By the way, I'm joking. That's Britain right there. Yeah, look at it. Look, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. It's not drawn to scale, is it? But just having a look at the old chat there. Thank you, E4. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and now you've mentioned that, Nordic, I've got to go and watch Sharp again, haven't I? Oh, great show! Because I knew the chap that sung that in the series. He was a folk singer in a band, and I sort of knew him because we were on the same sort of circuit when I was doing that sort of stuff. So yeah, got to watch bloody Sharp again now. And then you could go play Flying Colors. Afterwards. I do love that. Yeah, when you can watch Hornblower and then play Flying Colors. Yeah, that's another series I've got to rewatch as well. So, but no, Flying Colors. Another rule book I'm going to have to read.
Right then. Thank you for that, Nate. That was bloody interesting. Thank you very much. So let me do the old. Let's get this terrible history out the way. Horrible histories.
Now, before you do it,
Go on, then.
yesterday was Emperor Marcus Aurelius's birthday. Did you celebrate it?
No, we celebrated Tuesday. We had St. George's Day over here.
Oh,
our
yes.
Patron saint, which, you know, people who diss our little island saying, yeah, but he was Greek. No, well, he was Turkish. Well, no, it was in a part of the world that was Greek, so he was basically Greek. But yeah, but he was so good that a lot of countries use him as his patron saint, you know, and if you're into that sort of thing, he died for his beliefs. He refused to renounce Christianity and had his head lopped off for his troubles. So apart from the dragon he killed, yes, see, people forget about that.
Which I believe the dragon is the symbol of the city of London.
Yes, it's also symbolic now with it's I suppose then as well symbolic with the evil that was around. He killed it by his standing up for his beliefs. So that was Tuesday, big gathering in London. You know, people singing and waving the St. George's Cross and all that sort of thing, which is, if you don't know, it's part of the Union flag, Scotland.
But actually, one thing that does happen, which doesn't get a lot of press, is that pretty much every town and village around England, the local scout troops, the local cadets, and some of the public sector workers like firefighters, etc., police, etc., do small marches, usually to the war memorial, because it's just a focal point in whichever town or village it is. So it's actually a civic day, although it's not a holiday.
Although it was spread over, we had the sort of military in London, the military sort of marches to the cenotaph and all that sort of thing. I think happened on the Saturday before, I think. They
mess it about, certainly.
Yeah, and they should. They were thinking about making it a bank holiday because it was also William Shakespeare's allegedly birth date and death date at the same time. So, and it was our late Queen's birthday, her proper birthday, a birthday. So maybe that's a reason to make it. We'll see one day.
Ruff, I was trying to find what Meandering Mike's mentioned. I was going to find.
What's he been saying?
Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was going to read you some paragraphs from there to give you some good advice.
Does he? Yeah. What happened to him though? Hey, yeah. Right. Mike. What Mike doesn't know. God, they're so intelligent in the chat.
Yeah, and by the way, Rob, Morris dancing is great fun. Yeah, I did that for a few years.
I used to be a Morris dancer. I've done that.
Me too.
We with. Oh, all right. What side? What side were you with? Can you remember?
What? Oh, Wickham Morris.
Wickham Morris. We were the Basildon. Yeah, we were Basildon when I used to. Yeah, we used to do circuit training.
Did you say Basil Fawlty?
No, Basildon. Basildon, where I live. Yeah, and Basildon is a don is a hill. In Old English, and it was Basil's Hill. So in days gone by, we used to do circuit training because if you've seen any Morris dancing, it's normally a sort of skip around like this with little twigs. We used to leap up in the air and we had for our stick dances we used pickaxe handles. Because we were tough. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Right.
We once used to do a dance called the Battle of New Orleans.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Wargaming friends kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, God bless her. She certainly was. Yeah.
All right, Ruff. So what happened today?
Well, I'm just checking the chat. I haven't forgotten. I'm just checking the chat in case we got.
Sit here and stare at one another.
No, just go talk amongst yourselves for goodness' sake. It's supposed to be professionals. Right, here we go then. 27th of April, 1296. An English army led by Edward I defeated the Scots at the Battle of Dunbar. the only significant field action in the campaign of 1296, the English routed the disorganized Scots in a single charge in action that was brief and probably not very bloody, since the only casualty of any note was a Major Lothian knight. So I think we turned up and they ran away for that one. 1805, the First Barbary War. United States Marines and Berbers attack the Tripolitan city of Derna, and this is where the old Marines get there from the shores of Tripoli, from the Marines' hymn. So that happened today. 1813, for the War of 1812, American troops capture York, the capital of Upper Canada, in the Battle of York. But never mind, the following year, we did an amphibious assault on the White House. So there we go, set it on fire. We only held it for
a tornado drove you away.
Huh?
A tornado drove you away.
Yes, that's right, because we set fire to it, and the tornado, I think, was partly due to it being put out, I think.
Right.
I thought it was really bad singing from Fort Thingy Henry, Fort outside Baltimore, wasn't it? I thought it was the really bad singing.
What's he going on about? Anyway,
singing.
Yes.
The actual myth, it's a myth, isn't it? The White House, that you painted it white after the fire,
right.
I think is a bit of a myth, because it was actually painted with whitewash in 1796. So it was white well before then. But it's a good one that we caused you to paint it white. But we're going to keep that one. I like that.
Well, I think the Canadians actually count it as their kind of pride, actually, I believe.
Yeah. It was amphibious assault as well. So there we go. 18. We've done that. 1939. We're whizzing through to now. Conscription for men aged 20 to 21 was announced in Britain. They're getting ready. And then during that war in 41, German troops enter Athens. The occupation of Greece by the Axis powers began in April 41 after Yahtzee Germany invaded the Kingdom of Greece to assist its allies Italy, who were having a bit of trouble doing it. So just like in North Africa, in come the German army to give them a bit of a help. So helped.
There is a theory with that, is that the British actually intervened in Greece first, and that then forced the Germans to then intervene themselves, and the Greeks didn't actually appreciate it. They didn't want the British to
No, we all stick with, I mean, there we go. But
plus
we all think we're doing proper.
The British command in North Africa was very upset that they had to send their troops to Greece, because they could have taken Tripoli, and then there would have been no North Africa campaign. There would have been no need for it.
There'd be no Panzer North Africa. Yeah. So thank goodness they did. But yeah, what's quite the Italians started it in October 40 and couldn't finish it. So anyway, so they came in and put their mark on it. Up to the end, 45, World War II, the Volkischer Beobachter, the National Observer, the newspaper of the Yahtzee Party, for some reason ceased publication. So,
man, these board game people, they're doing a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah,
paper shortage.
But I think it was something to do with that. The printers were on strike or something. I can't remember. Yeah. But,
and somebody forgot where they put the typeface.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody could read it. And also in 45, the last German formations withdraw from Finland to Norway. The Lapland War, and thus World War II in Finland, comes to an end, and the raising the flag on the 3-county cairn photograph is taken, a very famous photograph on this cairn, which is a sort of meeting point of the three borders of Norway, Sweden, and Finland. So that happened today. And again, one of the good old chaps of that conflict, 1945, Benito Mussolini, is arrested by Italian partisans in Dongo while attempting to escape disguised as a German soldier. He could have done a Charlie thing and dressed as a woman and tried to skip away, hide in a tree or something. No, but he tried. He disguised himself as a German soldier, but which by then their days were numbered. And then the last one, which I'd never heard about. 1953 in the Korean War. Operation Moolah offers $50,000 to any pilot who defects with a fully mission-capable MiG-15 to South Korea. The first pilot was to receive $100,000. So what's all this about, you say? Operation Moolah was a United States Air Force effort during the Korean War to obtain, through defection, a fully capable Soviet MiG-15 jet fighter. The Communist forces introduced this MiG-15 to Korea in November the 1st, 1950. USAF pilots, United States Air Force pilots, reported that the performance of the MiG-15 was superior to all United Nations aircraft, including USAF's newest plane, F-86 Sabre. The operation focused on influencing communist pilots to defect to South Korea with a MiG for a financial reward. This is Thomas's new game coming up, isn't it? Historic Wings' new game coming up, yeah.
So
the success of the operation is disputable since no communist pilot defected before the armistice was signed on July the 27th, 53. However, on September the 21st, 1953, a North Korean pilot, Lieutenant Non Kum-sok, flew his MiG-15 to the Kimpo Air Base, South Korea, unaware of Operation Moolah. I think he just had enough. There we are. That's today, 27th of April.
They have like one of those big checks, as you go out of the plane.
Yeah, like the polls winners. Yeah, like
there you go.
Yay.
Which, interesting enough, actually, that...
Oh, look, Thomas, who doesn't he know? He knows Patton's granddaughter. He knew, it's a family friend. Look, amazing.
Which, interesting enough, actually, his plane is in the United States Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. I've seen it a couple of years ago. And that pilot just passed away just recently, actually.
Right.
What was neat was that
there we go. Look, he's just put that up there. Yeah.
Yep. What was interesting about the plane is, the U.S., they took it apart, they flew it, they figured it out, and then they offered to return it. And the Soviet Union said, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, it's at its day now. We've got the MiG-16 coming out anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see what I mean?
He's connected to everything.
Yeah, you see why he does what he does, and why his books are so great when there's so much information in it. It's, that overflight one, the stuff in it, I haven't read it all, but it's like, wow, how do you know this? But anyway, there we go. That's it. But the MiG-15 was a good plane. It was a good plane. Outflew most of the other stuff. So there we go. That's that. Now, a new section to the show. We have got.
It's a block game, right?
Tweezers Twiddle or something, isn't it? What's it called? No. Yeah. My first guess is it a?
My camera slipped.
Is it a block game? So. What are you calling it?
I forgot. Tweezers Twisters.
Tweezers Twisters.
Yeah.
Explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the chat,
right,
what you want these peeps to do.
I like Mike's tweeze of iron. Brilliant.
It's a wagony.
Yes. So, of course, me being the lazy bugger that I am, I'm not going to do very much of this. Actually, it's over to the chat. You're going to have to do all the heavy lifting on this.
It's to actually show how creative our chat is.
That's right.
With this little bit
and
of
how lazy I am. Yes, and I'm not part of the chat, so I don't have to do this, but I will set you off. So the idea is this is a little bit of a competition. You don't win anything because I'm a cheapskate and I
it's
never
also just for
give
fun.
anything. Yes. So what it is I want you all to take. Well, you can do this several times, many times you like. Take a title of a war game, the name of a war game, and then you can either remove a letter from the name, change a letter, or add a letter, and make it a completely different game, and just describe in 3 or 4 words what that game actually is then. So I'll start you off here.
Yeah, you got some examples. Go on then.
So I've got a game here that is a simulation about exercising in a gym, and it's called Quad Leader. I can hear the laughter.
Yes, it was definitely.
Oh man.
Something related to what we were talking about. So it's a game set in ancient Greece. And it's about marital competition. It's called The Great Battles of Alex and Her. Think about it. Work it out. Write it down. We've got a vintage carriage racing game. It's called the Napoleonic Cars. And
God.
there's a worker placement game here. It's you can build a low country into a high country over time, and it's Holland 4D.
I wonder, is that better than what was it, the war game of the year a few years ago? Was it U-Boot, I think? I'm sure it's better than that, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sure it has a great map too.
I think you've probably got it there. The last one I've got is it's a game about suburban competition and conquest. It's Empires of the Middle Aged.
And the other one you haven't mentioned, where you muck about with Fields of Fire.
Oh yeah,
farming game now.
Yes, it's a sim of being able to get a farm off the ground. I've called it Fields of Ire.
So the chat's gone very quiet all of a sudden.
They're all thinking now. They're all looking. They're all looking at their shells and going.
They're either looking at their shells and trying to work something out, or they
all left.
They're going up. Okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that's what they've done.
Everybody rage quit. Indeed,
that's right.
Yeah, Mike, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, see,
that's mine.
It's. Yes,
but Ruff will still love you.
Because I love everyone, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm sorry, there isn't.
Tide of irony, yes.
Yeah, tide of irony. I showed that one just now. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah,
he's still on about it. Look,
maybe if he comes up with several, that could be his reward from you.
Yeah. So that. Oh. He's got the idea. Groucho's got the idea. Come on.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Come on. Any other thing? We're losing watchers.
A Poirot reference. Those little grey cells are really starting to work.
Hold on, did I miss it?
Oh,
yeah, the punters.
Oh, here we are. Yeah,
the punters.
Gotcha.
You boa. That's changing one and removing. You're not supposed to do that, but I'll let you off.
Well, he's done the English version of boot, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I suppose.
Yes,
but
boat. Yeah.
The thing is, we're losing watchers by the droves because you've asked them to do something.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we are now.
Terrible.
Right. So now we can all go off and go and have a drink and stuff, and just leave the chat to get on with it. So. No, okay.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I thought I was going to get the night off.
What is that about?
No.
No, that's not a no. Stop it.
Actually, in that sort of vein, I was going to add with my tired iron another preparation, which of course was what's the thing? God, I can't remember the descriptor for it. God, that spoiled the whole thing. Yeah, forget it.
That's okay. We haven't changed anything, but you've just given it a different meaning. So we'll give you that one, Koi, I suppose. And okay, Nordic. Yeah.
Yeah, sure you had.
He did say it. He did say it.
Well, we'll leave it open.
Got it. I haven't got an insulated growler with me. That was the thing. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're having a fun. I tell you what, my son was talking about that, about the time that we were on with Tony, and it just fell to bits and went south because of the word growler, which has a completely different meaning over here as it does to our cousins over the pond there. And
It's probably the highlight ever of the war room.
It was,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
And my son was mentioning that he has an argument with his friend who hadn't heard what this word means over here. There's an American band, evidently, over your side of the pond, Nate, called the Growlers.
Okay.
And my son's going, yeah, but you don't know what it means. Why you like a band that's called the Growlers? You might as well call it the Front Bottoms, or Ladies Front Bottom, or something.
Oh.
Yeah, which is what the Growler means.
Some good ones coming through.
Oh, all right. We've given them a little bit of time to do it.
A Dark Slumber. I like that one.
Yeah.
There we go. Dying Colors. Love
yeah.
it. Thanks, Nordic.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah. Remember to put in a short description if you would.
Yeah, if you can. Great. I mean, Dark Slumber, you're having nightmares. Here, this is a type of wine you don't hear much about, but you've got the Russian champagne.
I like that.
That's a good one. Good one. Well, this may happen.
Mr.
President.
Mr. President, yes.
Yeah, you've changed more than one letter there.
We'll let him off.
Has he or not? Am I thinking of a different game?
Meandering. Mike, good one. Good one. And the game company as well. Oh, extra points.
Oh, there we go. I kind of like
it. So you give them a couple of minutes, let it all trickle down. Get a glass of wine down, and off you go. Panzer Grenadine. Yes. Nice one.
I can see Historic Wayne's going to change the name of his game. Now it's going to be the Battle of Congressional Accounting of Defense Department Spending.
Oversight. Good one, Thomas. Yes, there's plenty of that. Oh.
Okay.
Without changing the name of the game, you've just given it a very comedic title there. Thank you very much. Yeah, we've had that was flying. Yeah, we had that with
Dying Colors, yes.
Yeah, Dying Colors, great one.
Yes. Merchants. Love the description. It's very detailed.
A good new soccer game, Pass of Glory.
Yes. Yeah. Christoph, love it.
Wombat. Yeah. Well done, everyone.
Lovely.
Yeah, see, all they needed was a little time to think. That's
right.
All they needed. Well done, everyone. Keep them coming in if you want. If I see them,
I'll
put them up on the screen because it's a bit of daftness that we all love. So right.
Shall we move to our?
I was going to say time is getting on, and cheers, everyone. Lock and load. I'm drinking a nice bottle of Reserva Rioja tonight. So
good. It's a bottle, not a box.
Oh no, I don't use that anymore. It was easy to get it because that would last a couple of 3 days, But no, I treat myself to a nice bottle now. So
I'm on the gin and rhubarb and raspberry tonic.
Oh, get you.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like a gin and tonic. I do like gin, though. I must admit.
You sure that's not like water with a little flavored stuff in it?
Shut up.
They're still coming in. Hold on. Let's get the
Spa.
No, I told you Nordic wouldn't let us down. Didn't I told you.
Edward, love it. Yeah. Spa. When you wasn't quicker. So in the UK, Spa is a like a corner shop, little mini
if
supermarket.
It's from our part of the world, it's like it's like a little supermarket, little small supermarket, grocery,
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the equivalent you have here. It's not a big one. It's just one that's on a corner.
It's a corner shop,
corner shop, but it's got everything in it,
Yeah, I'd be like a Dollar General here.
Okay. Oh, not quite sure what you mean there, Christoph. Explain.
Yeah, no explanation on that one. Luckily,
no, we don't. No, we know what we're talking about. They're still coming in, but they haven't changed the name. But it's a fishing game now.
Yeah,
shooting fish. That's a bit close to truth, isn't it? Liberty or death. Or if you like wine, you might want to go for Great Bottles of History.
Yeah.
Anyway, great, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Right. explain, my friend, about what do you want to talk? What do you want to get the response from?
Sure.
Our
So,
lovely chat.
like I said at the beginning, and I want to hear from you all, and then from the chat as well. Is so, first, like, how long have you been playing war games actively? I should say, and then how sort of first, do you think that you've changed as a player in terms of maybe even like maybe the topics that you're more interested in nowadays than maybe compared to what you used to play near the beginning when you first started playing? Maybe different types of mechanics that you thought you really liked at the beginning, but then sort of soured on as time went on and you moved on to different ones, or maybe like certain companies that you bought everything from, but not anymore. You kind of moved on to somewhere else, or maybe of how you learn a game. How, maybe instead, like some people, they just plop a rule book open and they try to muddle their way through it, or other people, they have to read the whole thing before they even set up one counter.
Aren't we all? Well, aren't we all?
So I'm curious. I'll start with you, Ruff, in terms of, first, how long have you been playing? And then kind of what things do you think that how you've changed as a player?
Well, I've been playing games, not necessarily war games, since I was knee-high, as you say, to a grasshopper. And as I said earlier, that my only experience of war games was when my dad bought Squad Leader. And he said, "This is complicated. Do you want to get?" And I looked and I went, "No, I'd rather play something else." So that sort of I was always interested in the history of the Second World War, but playing a war game, because it looked too much like hard work for a lad of 10, 11, 12 to get their heads round. Also, hormones were kicking in. Never forget that. So I didn't do any. I played games, kept playing games, and I love backgammon. I play backgammon. Introduced my wife to backgammon, and she loves playing it. And then suddenly, for some reason, I had started looking on YouTube, and I was looking for games, not war games, and got a few non-war games from recommendations from YouTubers. Then I saw a war game, and I thought, "Hello, this looks fun. I'll give that a go." And the first game I bought, weirdly, was Fields of Fire. After saying all that, I saw somebody play, and I thought, "I'm going to get that." And to be fair, it didn't bother me, the rules. I probably did not. I thought I'd understood.
You didn't have a frame of reference.
I did have a frame of reference, and I thought I understood it, and played a few games, and I really loved it. And then I saw my first real love, because it was so different and so narrative and Hollywoody and great fun, is Warfighter. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I play the serious games with the bloody 70-page rules. Yeah. But I also love my Warfighter, and that was the first video I did on my channel was Warfighter, the Magnificent Six, as I call it, because one of the guys looked a little bit like Yul Brynner. One of the characters, one of the cards looked like Yul Brynner a little bit, to me anyway. So that's why I called it the Magnificent Six.
Just as a correction, I think Warfighter was a 70-page rule book. It just seems that they're missing so many of those pages in it.
Yeah, the problem. Yeah, I didn't have much of a problem.
Seems to be huge gaps.
Yeah, I didn't have much of a problem. Their rule book leaves much to be desired, but I was so in love with the game that I forgave that and read through the stuff, watched a couple of bits, but read through the rule book. And you get things wrong. And I understand people going, "Oh, the rule book." Yeah, I understand it, but I got a new love, war games, and Warfighter. Even though Fields of Fire was like, "Oh, this is interesting," once I started playing Warfighter, I found other games, mostly from the same company at that time, like Corsair Leader, because I thought, solo war games, what's all this about? This is how I fell in love with war games, by playing these solo war games. But as time has gone on, I've only been playing them, so maybe 6-7 years, about the same time as you, Nate. I've been playing games for all my life, but
Yeah.
war games. And I remember playing my first. My tastes have changed, and as time has gone on, rule books don't frighten me as much as they used to. And I would say this to anybody who's coming into the hobby, into the war game hobby, that some games are pretty heavy. Some Euro games are pretty heavy. Yeah, I get you. But some war games, they can be pretty heavy. Don't despair, because it will become easier. The more rule books you use, you'll read, you'll get used to the nomenclature, the terminology, whatever, and you'll get to know things. But as time has gone on, I've tried me. I love me Hex Encounter. My first Hex Encounter game was Aachen, crossing the line from what was then before they become VUCA simulations, and I fell in love with. Suddenly thought, all these slightly complex games are fun too. So, but as time has gone on, I've gone more. The problem with war games,
you go like
the problem with it. This is my problem. How I've changed as a gamer. I'll sum it up with this and let somebody else move on. Is that the bloody subject starts from year zero to infinity? So I thought I was a World War II gamer, and then I watch a video about the Napoleonic wars, and I think, oh, this is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens. Piles of bloody games, because everything is you're in a sweet shop. A wargaming, you've given the run of a sweet shop, and it's I'll try that, I'll try that. Oh, Romans, give that a go. Oh, what? Hey, First World War, what's all that about? So that's what it's like for me. That's changed me. I'm surrounded, not quite as bad as Jester, but most of my games, as opposed to Jester, most of my games are war games. Mm-hmm. Although I've now gone a bit daft with the non-war games as well, because the other thing is you get a bit not saturated with wargaming. You want to just try something else, and that's why I've bought the games like Massive Darkness and Nemesis and all that sort of thing. So and Shadows of Brimstone, so I can do daftness and then get back to the not serious, but to the more historical stuff. But yeah, bloody war games.
Are you more driven in the topic itself has to drive you to get the game?
Yeah, and I'm also interested in unusual topics.
Oh,
so Halls of Hegra, the Norwegian defense against the German invasion, no chance of surviving, but you just might. Vijay Yan Nagara, another thing I knew nothing about, this 13th century Indian history. Yeah, I love that sort of thing. It's something I know little about. I can't learn a lot, but I know I do like my ancients, and I'm learning bits as I play the games and read up the history. And it's great that the rule books have these designer notes and historical notes in them, so you can at least get a sort of skim of knowledge when you play the game. But the problem with me is, instead of like yourself going, oh, Romans, skim of knowledge, want some more. I'll go, oh, a little bit of knowledge there, a little bit of icing on the cake. Oh, what's this over here? Something completely different. So I learn a little bit about that. That's how it's changed me. I am, oh, what's this? I love knowledge, historical knowledge in any form. So I know lots of little bits about lots.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Tweez, what about you? I mean, how long have
you
been
doing that? I'm going to check through the chat to make sure.
What kind of things have you seen, if you can think of, as you changed as a player?
Yeah, so
because he's different.
I started off kind of I would say it's probably 1975 when I had two what you kind of call war games. But we're not American. They were Escape from Colditz and Kingmaker, Kingmaker aerial games. I didn't actually buy them in the UK. I was actually, would you believe, I was living in Qatar at the time, and those games had got there. There was
Wow.
one toy and game shop in the entire city
Wow.
called Toyland, and they had them, and I got them. And I didn't really play much with other people, other kids, because they were like, what? But I had those, and from then on, it only really started getting serious about 1980 when I was in school and I walked in. I was at boarding school, so yeah, you had your little dorms with kids in and stuff, and I happened to walk in one dorm, and this guy had Tobruk laid out on his bed, and I thought, whoa, cool, and that's the first Hex encounter thing. So Christmas time, I went home, and this time again, I wasn't in the UK. I was actually in Toronto, and we went down to the local what is it? The big department store, Eaton's.
Okay.
It probably still exists. I don't know. In Toronto, and they had a line of Avalon Hill games, and I got hold of Squad Leader and Luftwaffe, and those were two sort of first Hex Encountery games, and then went on from there. So I mean, you could count from 75. If you count from 75, I would be I'd be with Meandering Mike. I'd be in 49 at the moment. Although if you count it from 80, then it'd be only 44. So that's what. Well, I mean, big changes is kind of from 1975. I actually had hair up here for starters. That's the first thing. I was like 8 years old. A lot of things have changed.
How do you think your taste as a gamer, like what kind of drives you now as opposed to at the beginning of does topics really important to you, or is it mechanics, or is it, ease of play, solitaire, suitability, things like that,
All of those.
Okay.
And I'm quite willing to admit that my taste is a bit mad. Like, I just, with the one I just picked up, the Enemies at the Gate, CSS. There's already a modern war game version of CSS out there called Full the Gap, and when they announced that, I went, nah. They announced Enemies at the Gates, Berlin, 1985. I went, oh wow, tactical Berlin. I'm there. Why? Well, I just thought, I've been to Berlin. I know what it looks like. And it'd be really nothing ever happened there. Well, things did happen there, but nothing.
Right.
The maximum. Nothing.
Nice quiet
town while these Germans were about. But this is kind of. Yeah, it just caught my imagination. So things catch my imagination, and it's not just the games or the subject; it's also the mechanics and stuff. So, so I will, I'll once I like a set of mechanics, then I will look for others in the series. But it's again, you get that Full to Gap thing where I'll go, actually, this is a series I like, but nah, not that one. And it's quite hard, it's quite difficult to think. And I haven't really changed with that. I mean, early days it was about really what's available, because these games existed in game stores around the US a lot.
Sure.
In the UK and also other places where I was living at the time, they weren't. So you had limited choice.
Yeah.
We see the old catalogs, the AH catalog, where it had all the list of all the games, and you kind of listen and go, I wonder what's that looks like. You just see the title with, I don't know, $15 or something like that. And you thought, well, firstly, I don't have $15 because I'm only 12 years old. And secondly, if I had, the shipping would be another $12. So yeah, it's I think that's changed, is that world's your oyster now. And the World Series, Worlds is everybody's oyster now. You can buy what you like. It's a huge market.
Sure.
Not huge in money, but huge in choice.
Yeah.
Relative to where it was when I started. I mean, I didn't actually, when I started, I didn't even know about SPI. I had actually had an SPI game. It was called Sorcerer. It had a map that made your eyes bleed.
Yeah, that was the one with the sort of real
massive hexagons, and they were all multicolored. It was all multicolored primary colors. And it was like, but I didn't. I was like, it's an SPI game. The SPI label, and said, yeah, fine. I didn't. It was like, well, it's just a game company. It's one that Avalon Hill was the thing, because I saw more of those games on sale than anybody else. I didn't really appreciate SPI until much later. Actually, when they'd gone boom for that time. But yes, it's exactly as I was saying. Yeah, things like getting into historical things. So rather than me reading books about a period of history, I go and get a game on the period of history. So things like Guns of August. So I never read a book about World War One until well after I bought Guns of August. Same about the the Napoleonic Wars. Again, I hadn't read a book, and I'd had War and Peace,
Sure.
the game, from there you do go for the. But actually, I led my interest in history by going through games first.
Interesting. Okay.
And I still a little bit do that, really. I haven't read a book about Berlin in the 1980s, about the defenses and about the East Germans and stuff. I haven't read a book on it, but I just got a game on it. It's like, right, actually, I think I know things. And interestingly enough, when events happen during the world and people start talking about things, I actually reflect back to the subjects that came inside the games that actually mean something and go, well, most people don't know about this and it's not really being talked about. But I know about this stuff because I have or had a game on it.
That's weird. I mean, I used to be an avid reader before I discovered war games. Now I get my history from, like yourself, from the games. It's which is why I know a little bit about a lot. You know, not I don't specialize. Yeah, and the other thing is the mechanics. I love different mechanics, which is why I love Atlantic Chase so much. The concept of that game, it's a Marmite game. You either love it or hate it. But that's the other thing that you didn't have maybe back in the 70s and 80s. They were pretty much a war game was a war game, unless something weird off field come in.
Right. There's like a standard, like this is a war game.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I'm lucky, I think, whatever you play, be it war game or non-war game, this now is the golden age of gaming. In fact, there's probably too many games coming out.
I've been very surprised, even just in the 6-7 years that I've been playing war games, just of how many more people are becoming more interested in war games, and seeing a lot of YouTubers of like big name YouTubers.
Well, you can see them coming across, can't you?
Yep. Starting to see like a few more. Like I remember, I can't remember who it was. They were showing their shelf, and I thought there's quite a number of GMT games on there. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, or they've got David's Undaunted on there. It's
right.
It's that seems to have been a great crossover game.
Now, for me, like I did something like what you did in terms of before I knew war games, I played computer games when I was a kid, and I would go read a book, and then I would try to almost recreate, if I could, the history in the game, and that brought a lot of the history sort of alive to me, and so when I went to go start teaching history in high school, so my knowledge of history expanded greatly because I had to go actually teach it now. So, and I really liked, particularly when I taught world history, of just weaving in and out of all the different subjects that are there. And I found that every year when I would teach, that my interest in games, to play certain games, would come at the time that I'm teaching that subject, because that history was so interesting to me. And so nowadays, it's still the same. If I'm, like recently I'd been interested in World War One, been reading World War One books, and so I wanted to play World War One games on that. And I'm 35, but I've been playing war games for 6-7 years, and this was my first Hex Encounter game, and loved it. And I really like the North Africa campaign.
Now, sorry, I'm going to have to ask you, Nate, being a non-war gamer into a war game, and that was your first game, what made you pick that?
I've always been interested in the North African campaign, just as a subject, even before I couldn't find any computer games on it. But I also did, when I was in grad school, I did some research on the first battle of El Alamein.
Yeah.
And in July 42, and really, really enjoyed that. And so when I was introduced by a professor to Wargames, no sooner than I left his house, I went home and found GMT and found this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to get that.
I'm waiting for the reprint, you see, on the
I
mounted
would
map.
love to have a reprint.
On the mounted map, yes.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
But this led me, because I enjoyed it so much, not only the topic, but I really liked the chit pull mechanic in it, that led me to buy all the other games in that series. And then for me to like, I like Ted Racer as a designer. I'm going to go look at his other games, and then to discover, 1914 Glory's End, When Eagles Fight, and Paths of Glory.
Oh, yes. That man must stop. He must stop designing games. I'm sorry.
Right. And then, then it led me to where the professor that had introduced me to Wargames is also a professional Napoleonic historian. And one year, it was after school was out, and we were on summer break, and him and another professor and me and a couple other guys got together, and we played War and Peace for the first time. And I'm asking him, like, so what do you think as a historian of this game? Does it actually represent the history, well? And he said, this has been my favorite game for the last 30 years. I play it all the time.
You don't realize how long that's been out, and how quickly it sells out every time it's reprinted. Just a quick question about your professor. Was his war games that got you into it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it just Napoleonic games, or did he have a sort of mix and match?
He had a mix and match. He likes his ancients, so he has the Ancient World series from Richard Berg. He actually
sold being reprinted now, isn't it? Or on
with Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
He has the entire the Avalon Hill versions of the Great Campaigns of the American Civil War. I've played GCACW. I really like it, and he really likes World in Flames and World at War.
Right. Yeah.
And
those light coffee time games. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's got in his war game room, he has a table that's about 12 feet long, something like that. So he can fit anything he wants on it.
Yeah. I've got a house that's 12 feet long.
Yeah. This is it. Yeah. God, some people are lucky. Just imagine the 12-foot you could have. I'm going to put this game out, let a little fiddle around with it, and then put this game out and just do it. And I can walk up and down like you're playing. You're playing.
And he even bought he ordered a special piece of plexiglass that covers the whole table in one go. Lovely. And so don't have to worry about it. He clamps
those little joins with 2 bits of plexiglass. No.
Yep.
God, dear.
And but I mean, it's. A lot of the history that I'm interested in drives the games that I buy. However, I have noticed that me as a war gamer, even just in the 6-7 years that I've changed a little bit, in that, like I said, I'm more interested in operational level games, more strategic level games. But then for some reason, don't know why, I was really interested and got
go figure.
Smith game.
This is what it does to you. It messes with your brain, this hobby. Yeah.
And I thought, I like tanks. Tanks are cool. I
like tanks.
And actually, there's just south of me, there's a tank museum. Has at least like the largest private collection of military vehicles here in America. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I went for.
There is no reason. You don't have to try and justify it. There is no reason. It's a mental thing that wargamers have.
Yeah.
It's just.
I will say, I know when it comes to solitaire games that I don't buy a lot of solitaire games, but I got really interested in all of the Ben Madison solitaire games, the Mission and the First Jihad and the Napoleonic Wars, and because he is a historian himself, and so I was quite interested in how he weaved history into those games.
Yeah.
The mission is I really like that. I watched your playthrough, Tweez, on it, and watched your interview with him. I thought it was fascinating.
Let's try and get him on the show again.
That was actually through his mobile phone. He
lives in a wood on the top of a mountain.
No internet or anything like that.
But my experience with his his games is Mrs. Thatcher's War, but you've got that sprinkling of the news headlines coming in and all that sort of thing. So it's
I've been playing recently his Death in the Trenches. From Compass, surprise enough, but it's actually well put together and everything. And there's no isms in it. But he weaves about 500 different possible events that could happen, so that each World War I that you play is a different World War I.
That's the beauty of a solitaire game, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this one's not solitaire. It's a 2-player game.
Oh, it is. Oh, right.
But it still has that sort of event-driven, really cool narrative that is built into that system. It's the same as he did it with Absolute Victory, which I think that has something like 2,500 events that could happen. There's so many.
So no two games are the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. You see, the thing with you that's different to me is that you'll get interested in or read a book and then find a game, yeah?
Yes.
I'll find a game if something interests me first.
You go find a book.
And then maybe go and find a book if I want a bit more info on it. Or look it up on the internet and read it. Because there's so much on the internet. I'm afraid to say, you don't maybe need books anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I love, nothing better than buying like a fresh game, yeah? The new game smell, the new book smell. There's nothing like it. So and flicking actually through the pages, there's nothing like it. But that's how I do it. I get, that looks interesting. I might get that game, do a bit of research on it, and then this is fascinating. I'll see what else I can find out about it, which makes you play the game a bit better because you're a bit more knowledgeable about how the game should work and the sort of historical stuff you should be doing if you want to go down that route.
Of course, sometimes though, I mean, knowing what happens kind of spoils it for you. Like you already know what probably is going to happen, and so
it's like when you play a North Africa game, historically what's going to happen, but you try and change it, especially if you're playing the baddies, and but that's the point. Sometimes it doesn't work out historically with games, and that's the joy of them, isn't it? It's like when I played Men of Iron with Tweez. My horse, a kingdom for a horse. He galloped off. He survived. So the whole course of history after that has changed.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about it.
Another change I think was initially I looked at it as Wargames, the bigger the better. So I was really into the monster stuff. The early OCS, the early TCS. World War I games like Home Before the Leaves Fall, Course of Pocket. These guys were brilliant, big stuff.
Why was that, Tweez? Why were you attracted to these huge games? Why? What was it about them that made you go, oh yeah?
Well, I mean, they introduced the operational rather than just the tactical, and so the operational games were big games. They kind of had to be. You didn't get a small operational game, really. I mean, there might have been a few, but it was. I was searching for that operational itch, which is where I like to sit. Although I do like strategic, and tactical, didn't do, but operation is kind of where I am. Problem was then you had to kind of actually, if I buy this game, am I going to be able to play it, kind of thing. And initially it was, borrow mum and dad's dining table kind of thing. That was fine, even when my joints worked properly, even floors were
there are pictures of some of some famous game designers playing their games or playing games on the floor, their bedroom when they were
kids. I seen a picture once of it was all three of the Barbarossa games Army Group North, Center, and South. They were all put together, and it filled an entire floor room space.
Crazy.
When I was at uni, the Wargaming Club, we actually did the Third World War, the original GDW Third World War, all 4 of them together.
Wow.
Over 32 hours.
Wow.
It was rubbish, frankly, but
but it was fun.
But we did that, but everybody was really into it, and we will do this, and we it was Wargaming clubs. We had tables, we could put it all together and stuff. We did, we went over sort of a Friday to Sunday kind of thing, just to see how far we get, because nobody'd ever done it before out of all of us. Stuff. But once you've got actual living accommodation you're paying for and things like that, then you think, oh, can I? But now, with the advent of things like Vassal and Tabletop Simulator and stuff, is you can actually buy these big games like Enemy is at the Gate. Enemy at the Gates is 5 maps, 4 plus a little guy, full maps there, oriented not nicely. They're like 2 L's stuck together.
Yeah,
one going one way, one going the other. It's not space friendly at all as a game, but do it on Vassal, I'll be able to do it. Any bugger is that Compass haven't produced a Vassal module for it, so
they'll probably get.
But they'll get it, and then I can come do the big stuff.
The game's out.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing I can, I with ILO 1807, it's 2 maps. I can't put. I can do 1 map. I can't really do 2. 1 and a bit. But 2 maps, no. But I've got the Vassal module. I can do the whole battle. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think that with me as well, I'm getting a bit more selective because I look as a gamer about the footprint of the game and whether or not I could play it on Vassal, but I want to play the game in for real. So that is a thing. Like I didn't get Enemy at the Gates because I knew it's a blooming. I'm not going to get the whole thing out, and I'd love to, get the whole thing out. So that sort of even 2 mappers, especially if they're top bottom and there's 2 of them, like Red Storm and things like that. Yeah. I have problems because I haven't got the table space.
I can't do it.
That's something I've noticed watching, seeing people's comments throughout and, seeing what games get popular or not is it seems to me that people I hear stories of, like you mentioned, Tweez, about, when I was younger, we got these huge mapped games all out playing everything like Third World War, Barbarossa, all them. But then as people get older, they get more interested in sort of tighter and smaller games, mainly because of, I've heard people say because of the space that I have, which is understandable. But also that just the time commitment of trying to play these massive games and get to some type of resolution can take upwards of 100 hours or so. And people don't want to spend 100 hours on one game. Yeah. They would rather spend that on multiple games.
It's also an age thing because when we were young, we would sit and play a game for 100 hours. Kids of my age then now that's not a hobby anymore. This was a hobby we had, playing games. It was a hobby. And as we get older, of course, things happen. We get into relationships. We may have kids. We got a mortgage. Right. And this gets put away. And this was why in the comments, people were saying, oh, I gave it up for so many years. I suspect some of it is due to that. And as they get older, they regress back into their childhood. They go, oh, the kids are gone. Oh, we've got enough room here. I'm going to start my hobby again. So
I think, too, as well as that there's more games available.
Yes, and they can get a small footprint game and stick it on the kitchen table or stick it on the dining room table or the lounge table or in a corner. Get a little table and stick it in the corner. Get out of the way of everybody while they're watching the television.
I mean, there's more games. There are more games vying for your time. And, like you were mentioning, Tweez, about that, there was only whatever was in that shop is what you could pick to play. And so nowadays, I mean, with the internet, like you mentioned, the world is your oyster. So you can pick whatever you want, more or less. And just the number of games that are coming out, I can't keep up. I mean, there's too many almost.
Yeah, and that's a point that Grognard Rich says. Yeah, because there are games now that you can play in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. We don't have to play 4, 5, 6, 10-hour games anymore unless you want to. There's a lot of games out there that you'll get your hit, but it's like a drug that you get your hit and you're happy. You know, it's great. It's a great time for gaming.
I agree with Stuka there. If a smaller game can tell a really good story, then, you know, maybe the monster is not what you go for.
I mean, one of them, and Stuka's played it, and he did about as well as I did when I played it, was Malta Besieged. Great little game, gives you a flavour of what went on and the what we were up against on that island. You know, so it's a great little game.
And there you go. Then you can read a book on it.
Yes, but Hold on, we're just trying to get the comments up before we start because we're coming to the end. Crikey!
Holy cow!
Cheat through the time.
Oh, Imperium Romanum. Man, I really like Imperium Romanum. I loved playing, especially right after I did all of my thesis work on Attila the Hun, and then I set up the Attila the Hun scenario in Imperium Romanum. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. It was good.
That's a game and a half, isn't it? That game.
The map size on Imperium Romanum 2 is not bad. It's 2 maps, but it's one regular size map and then one smaller map that you just stick on the end. The Decision version is 3 large maps, and that takes up some space. You've got
to have that room and commitment to play that game, haven't you? So, and not everybody's got that. I mean, as YouTubers, we try and play. You know, when I do a playthrough, you know, when I do a playthrough, hopefully, that they take, you know, 4, 5, 6, some take 8 videos, you know, if you're going to play the whole thing. So it's a lot of time investment in these games. Have you played Punic Wars? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry, Christoph. I didn't mean.
I think
he's Hannibal.
Is he talking about Hannibal, Rome versus Carthage, or is he talking about Carthage, the First Punic War? I don't know which one. Sure. Yeah. Basically played them all that I can find.
He's played everyone that's got the word Punic in. All right. Yeah, narrative. Now that is important as well. You know, how has our gaming changed? Yeah, as I got older or more experienced, a story for me in my head, the theatre of the mind, is more important. And a lot of games, especially as you come down the operational strategic, not so much, but I'll still play them. But the sort of tactical or grand tactical stuff, for me, again, bloody Warfighter. It's a Hollywood movie on your table for me. That's me.
I mean, even in your live stream that you didn't really like, Ruff, but it was good on the Hunters. That was a great narrative.
Yeah, I love the game. I love it. You know, it didn't go well, but that's the narrative.
Yeah.
You know, and even on my not live stream, when I did it on my channel, you know, I was telling a story that they got sent to Spain. Oh, they're going to be sunbathing on top of the sub. It's going to be a doddle. They're going to have a great time. No, they got sunk. That was it. So that's what I love about narrative games. Anyway.
Well, we are approaching
time, everybody. Yeah. Can I just thank 50 odd people for sticking with this nonsense again for 2 hours? Because
what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you all?
I know, but that's why I love everybody, and there's nothing they can do about it.
I don't.
I know you do. I know, but I do because I'm that sort of sharing, loving, and I appreciate all the attention. But if you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would push the old like button for us, please, because that will get us up in the old algorithm. And if more people know about this, we're getting some great comments on on Twitter, on X about this. Somebody was commenting that this show is top shelf. So top shelf.
There's dust on it though.
So that's where that's where they put the pull mags, isn't it, on the top? Anyway, we won't go there.
No, I'm still waiting for if there's some real interest. I'm waiting for the Kickstarter for Tweezers Tide of Iron game that he has there. Get your copy ready.
I'd say that, you know, it's just one thing moving across. I don't know what they're going to do. Anyway, it's time to go. All I can say is, everybody, you know, 50 odd people watching. If you haven't said hello, but if you've just sat there and watched, Fantastic. Thanks to everyone. Anything coming up quickly on your shows, before we say good night to, or good afternoon to everyone? Tweez, what are you doing? Anything?
Yeah, well, I'm mostly Poiroting, although, but as I said, I do have another bit of the enemies at the gates out here. Not ready to go, but ready-ish. So I might end up with that. Might do another 1807 Devue's attack, a third go on that scenario. Beyond that, nothing amazingly planned, although there is the unboxing that will be coming along. Also, I did promise last week that I was going to do a video on the railway rules on 1940
Yes,
Nagger
we're all
Paris.
waiting for this.
I will do that. I will do that. So, but those are kind of special projects which are going to have to kind of fit around here. So watch the space, but don't stare at it, because you'll get a headache by the time I get around to it.
That will hopefully be out next week, along with 1812 unboxing from VUCA. So yeah, that's the sister game to Traces of War, which is their first one by the same designer. Nate, anything quickly?
I'm going to be playing this, and
we're
going
going to video it. We're going to video it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Is that the one with Augustus, or no, Agrippa? Is it Agrippa who does that campaign?
This?
Yeah.
No, this is the Second Punic War.
Oh, it's the second. Sorry, right.
Yeah, in Spain.
Okay. Not,
anything with Punic in, he's on. Yeah,
it was a Punic.
Right.
Sorry,
I've got it.
Sorry, I thought it was late. It's kind of later. With the sort of Hispania campaign.
Yeah.
Ken wants more not Paris videos.
Okay.
And do that blooming railway video for us, because that's the thing, isn't it? That's the
it
thing.
Is really straightforward.
I know, but it's the way it's written.
Believe me, it is.
Yeah. So what we're doing, not Paris railway rules for idiots.
There you go.
There you are. Right. Anyway, guys and girls and other genders in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. Next week, we've got as our guest, because Jester's still away at where is he? At that
Buckeye Game Fest.
Buckeye Games. I always call it something else for some reason. Sounds like Buckeyes.
Yeah, don't play Tweezers Twisters with Buckeye Game Fest.
No, don't, because that would yeah, we'd get kicked off YouTube. So, but next week we've actually got, wait for it, we've got Tony's Board Life coming back as a special favor to me to come on the show while Jester's away for the second week. So he'll be joining us, me and Nate. So we'll look forward to that.
Like a dog returning to its sick. Right?
Yes. Yeah. That's one way of putting it, and I shall tell him you said that.
He'll love it. He'll love it.
He'll love you for it. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you have a great week, and God bless, and we love you all. Nothing you can do about it, and we'll see you this time, 9 p.m. next week, for another load of old nonsense. Till then, bye-bye.